Okay guys, in this next tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to create a channel in the bottom of our base so that the MDF baseboard can slot in. Now, a lot of that might not make sense to you at the moment, so what I've done is I've just done a very quick copy and paste of the male fixing, and I've cut into the bottom of that a channel. Okay, now my MDF base is going to sit inside there so that when the whole base is together, I don't see a horrible piece of MDF on the bottom of the base itself. Okay, so within this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create that channel. Okay, and the reason for showing you this at the beginning is just to help you visualize what we're going to do. So I'm just going to delete that. I'm going to go back to my plan view, and I said in the first video not to worry too much about this red dotted line, and that we will come back to it. Now is that time. That red line represents the size of the MDF that I want to go in. Okay, now it has to be smaller than the base itself because the channel is going to be cut in to the wood. Okay, so if it went all the way to the end, the bottom part would just simply fall off, and we don't want that. So this base, this MDF piece here, is cut into half of the distance of the wood, so that's 12 mil. And the channel that we need to cut in is 6 mil here. Okay, so I'll go back to my drawing. If this doesn't make sense just a moment, I don't blame you. It's quite difficult to understand, so maybe watch the tutorial through once, and hopefully it'll make sense, and you can come back to it and make the amendments to your own drawing. Okay, so we've got two groups now, which means I can click this one and move it away. I'm going to go over to the male fixing. I'm just going to orbit around slightly so I get a better view. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on that group so that I can edit it, and you'll notice that everything else has been grayed out to suggest that I'm editing this group. Okay, I want my channel to be 5 millimeters from this base, so I'm going to use the tape measure tool again. Click, type in 5 millimeters. It gives me my guideline, and I want the channel to be 3 millimeters thick because that's how thick the MDF is. Click once, drag up 3 millimeters. Okay, that gives me the upper and the lower limit. I'm going to take the rectangular tool, click once and drag. That gives me the box. Before we forget, oops, I'm just going to delete those guidelines. I'm going to orbit around, and I'm going to push that channel in 6 millimeters, half the distance. Click, drag it, oops, drag in 6 millimeters. There we go. Do the same now on the female fixing. This time though, I'm not going to take the channel right to the edge, because if I did that, when the comb comes together, excuse me, I would see the channel on the outside of the box, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to bring the channel in a couple of millimeters either side. Okay, so let's move to a better viewpoint. Double click again, make sure everything else is grayed out. I'm going to add the same measurements again so that the channels line up. So 5, 3. This time I'm going to go from the edge, and I'm going to come in 5 millimeters. Again, hopefully you'll understand why. Because of course, if the channel went right to the edge, you would see the channel when the box comes together. We definitely don't want that. I'm going to draw my shape within those guidelines, then delete the guidelines. Can't pick up. There we go. Orbit around slightly so I get a better viewpoint. Use the push-pull tool, and again I'm going to move in 6 millimeters. Fantastic. Okay, so now I have my two objects. I'm going to copy and paste one. Oops. Copy and paste the other. And now I have 4 sections of my box. Okay guys, good luck with that.